Bryson DeChambeau just missed the cut at Shinnecock Hills. Again, that makes 3 straight majors, 3 chances to fight back, 3 times he walked off the course early, with nothing to show for it. A year ago, this felt impossible. He was lifting trophies. He was beating Rory McIlroy. He looked like the future of golf. Now fans are asking the same question over and over. What happened to him? Bryson has an answer. He posted it himself, in his own words, straight to camera. No filter, no PR spin, just him, talking about swings that won't land and putts that won't drop. But here's the part that should worry every golf fan watching this. He admits something is wrong. He says he knows what needs fixing, and yet week after week nothing changes. That's not a normal slump. A normal slump fixes itself with time. This one is starting to look like something Bryson can't fix alone, no matter how hard he tries. Here's what bad on the course actually looks like in numbers. Shinnecock Hills wasn't a slow fade, it was sudden. Bryson opened with an even par 70 on Thursday, solid, nothing alarming. Then Friday happened. Back-to-back double bogeys on the 3rd and 4th holes. 4 more bogeys before the day ended. A 5 over 75 that left him 2 shots outside the cut line. 1 round undid everything the first round built. This wasn't a one-time bad day either. It's part of a pattern stretching back months. He missed the cut at the Masters. He missed it again at the PGA Championship. 2 majors in a row, something that hadn't happened to him since 2017. Then came Shinnecock, and the streak hit 3. 3 of the last 4 majors. 4 of the last 5 overall. For Bryson specifically, that's almost unrecognizable. This is a man who, barely a year earlier, finished top 10 in 6 of 8 majors. A man who beat McIlroy outright to win the US Open. A man who looked by every measure like he was entering his prime. So what changed? That question isn't just coming from fans. Analysts are asking it. Other players are asking it. And strangely enough, Bryson himself seems to be asking it too. He's named the exact problem out loud. He just can't seem to do anything about it. He's been remarkably open about where things are breaking down. He's talked about his iron play missing its mark, shots that used to find the green now leaking off to one side. He's talked about his putting speed betraying him on the greens that matter most, putts that should drop just sliding past the hole. He's talked about his wedge game losing the precision that used to separate him from everyone else in the field. He's named the issues, specifically, on camera, with no excuses attached. Naming the problem is supposed to be step 1 toward fixing it. For most players, it is. They name it, they grind on it, they show up the next week a little better. For Bryson, the losses keep stacking up anyway, tournament after tournament, like the diagnosis and the cure live in 2 completely different places. And that gap between knowing exactly what's wrong and still not being able to fix it is where this story stops looking like a slump and starts looking like something else entirely. Because here's what Bryson actually said, in his own words, after walking off that course at Shinnecock. He didn't hide from it. He didn't blame the course, the weather, or bad luck. He said, "We can say it's unlucky. We can say judgment. We can say bad swings and all that. Ultimately, it comes down to me making better decisions, having a few more things go my way, and being more comfortable over the golf ball." That's not deflection. That's a man staring straight at his own collapse and refusing to look away from it. But the next thing he said is what should really worry you. He said, "Just last year, this time, before the US Open, I was one of the best major championship performers in the world. Come 1 year later, everybody says I'm the worst." Read that again. 1 year. That's all it took to go from the best to the worst, in his own words, by his own admission. Not a critic said that about him, not a commentator looking to stir up drama. He said it about himself, out loud, knowing every fan watching would hear it. So if it's not his swing breaking down on its own, and it's not just bad luck, what's actually pulling him apart? The answer isn't only happening on the golf course. It's happening somewhere most fans aren't even looking. Off the course, Bryson has been splitting himself in 2. There's Bryson the golfer, still chasing majors, still trying to climb back to where he was. And there's Bryson the content creator, running a massive YouTube channel that built its entire identity around his golf success in the first place. He admitted it himself, in a moment that probably should have set off alarms across the golf world. He said, "I'm in that weird space right now. I don't know what to do. Either content creation or professional goals. I don't know what to do right now." That's not a man casually juggling 2 hobbies. That's a man genuinely unsure which version of himself he's supposed to be chasing. He even said the two paths feel financially close enough that the decision isn't obvious. He admitted that content creation and professional golf pay about the same right now, if you're at his level in both. Think about that for a second. A two-time major champion, one of the greatest ball strikers the sport has ever produced, weighing his competitive career against a YouTube channel like it's a fair fight, like either one could be his real future. And the numbers behind that confusion tell an even darker story. His YouTube earnings have been sliding. Reports put his monthly revenue around $5,000 to $7,000 in recent months, far below where it sat back when his US Open win sent his audience soaring into the millions of views. His most watched video isn't even about his current game. It's an old collaboration filmed back when he was still golf's biggest story, a video that still pulls more attention than anything he's posted since, like the channel itself is living in the past more than he is. Here's the trap hiding underneath all of it. His content only works when his golf is working. The channel doesn't grow off personality alone. It grows off wins, off majors, off moments people are already talking about. Which means the worse his golf gets, the less his backup plan is even worth anything. That's bad enough on its own, but the timing makes it almost cruel, because right now, while his game is falling apart, the ground underneath his entire career is shifting too. LIV Golf, the league Bryson left the PGA Tour for, just got hit with news that shook the entire sport. Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, the billions of dollars keeping LIV alive, announced it's pulling its funding at the end of this season. The league isn't just struggling, it's losing its financial backbone, the exact thing that made it competitive with the tour in the first place, the thing every player who signed with LIV was quietly counting on. Bryson said he never saw it coming. He told reporters, "There's no way. That's frickin' impossible, considering what I'd heard a couple months earlier. I thought there was a plan through 2032. It was a flip of the switch. Imagine building your entire career around a promise that was supposed to last another 6 years, only to find out that promise had an expiration date nobody told you about." He's trying to stay optimistic in public. He called it part of doing business, saying there's a lot of moving parts. Like in any business, it's a startup, right? And so there's going to be times where we're squeezed and punched. This is one of those moments. But optimism doesn't fix a closing door, and there's another door that may already be locked shut. The PGA Tour, the place Bryson walked away from, opened a one-time path back for players like him. It's called the Returning Member Program. Brooks Koepka took it and paid close to $90 million in penalties to return. Bryson was offered the exact same deal. So were Jon Rahm and Cameron Smith. All three of them turned it down. And now, sources close to the tour say that window likely won't open again. Bryson didn't just lose a path back. He may have walked away from the only path back that was ever going to exist. At the exact moment his golf needs that path the most. At the exact moment LIV's money is disappearing underneath him. It gets worse the closer you look at how the locker room actually feels about him. One ESPN analyst said it plainly. "I was told there are guys in the PGA Tour locker room that have memorized everything negative he has said about the PGA Tour over the last 4 or 5 years. There is obviously a ton of scar tissue when it comes to Bryson. That's not a cold shoulder. That's years of resentment, stored and ready, waiting for the moment he tries to come back. It's not only the locker room talking either. Outside voices have started questioning whether Bryson even understands how weak his position really is right now. One golf commentator put it bluntly, saying Bryson still acts like he's the one holding the leverage, like the tour needs him more than he needs them. When your own game is collapsing and people are openly saying you've lost touch with your own value, that's not a minor PR problem. That's a warning sign that the people around him see something he might not. Bryson still insists there's a way through it. He said, "I think that there's a way to solve any problem. It's really about whether the membership wants me back, and if they want me back. That's really what it's about." But belief alone has never been enough to undo years of bridges burned in public. So picture his actual situation right now, all at once, not one piece at a time. His golf game is collapsing in real time, in major after major, with no recovery in sight. His backup plan, the YouTube channel, is shrinking because it depends on the very golf success that's disappearing. The league he bet his career on is losing the money that kept it alive, and the door back to where he started may already be closed for good. That's not one bad stretch. That's 4 separate walls, closing in from 4 separate directions, all at the exact same time. Most players who slump get to fix one problem and move on with their season. Bryson is fighting all four at once, with no clear exit on any side, and no guarantee that fixing one thing helps with any of the others. One person close to the situation summed up where this could go next. They said it could break one of two ways. Either Bryson decides the YouTube life is safer and easier and quietly steps back from chasing majors for good, or it lights something in him, a refusal to let this be how his story ends, and he fights his way back to the player he was just 1 year ago. Back to the version of himself that beat the best player in the world on golf's biggest stage. Nobody knows which version of Bryson shows up next. Not the fans, not the analysts, maybe not even Bryson himself, caught between two identities that used to fit together perfectly and now seem to be pulling apart. But here's the part that makes this genuinely sad, more than any single missed cut or any single bad round ever could. This is a man who has already proven he can be one of the best in the world. He's done it before, recently, clearly, undeniably. He outdueled the best player on the planet to win a US Open, not on luck, but on pure ability. The talent never left him. What's closing in on him isn't a lack of ability. It's everything happening around him, at the exact same time, in every direction he might have tried to turn. He could fix his swing tomorrow and it still wouldn't fix LIV's funding. He could win his next major, and it still wouldn't reopen a door the PGA Tour locker room has already closed in their minds. He could walk away from golf completely, and his own channel would start dying the moment he did it. That's the real tragedy hiding behind every headline about his missed cuts. It's not that Bryson DeChambeau got worse at golf. It's that the world around his golf collapsed at the exact moment he needed it most to hold steady, and there's no single fix waiting on the other side of any of it. So here's my honest take. I think the talent is still there. I think the door isn't fully closed yet. But I want to know what you think. Do you believe Bryson fights his way back to the top, or has too much already fallen apart around him? Drop your answer below. I read every single one. And if you want the real story behind golf's biggest collapses, told the right way, with no fluff and no spin, hit subscribe. There's a lot more of this coming.